All right, I'm recording.
All right, in three, two.
It's a hard knock life for this district in Paris, France. Nous parlons des films. Nous parlons des Misérables, starring Damien Bonnard, de Zonga, and Alexis Minetti, written by Ladj Ly, Gordiano Giuliani, and Alexis Minetti, directed by Ladj Ly. And I apologize for butchering every single one of your fucking names.
But that's what we do here.
But take that stupid armband off, because everyone knows we're cops.
Since we're doing French, I'm going to try my French, which is going to be fucking horrible. C'est moi, la loi, which somehow translates into I am the law.
Got it.
Man, that was fucking rough, man, with the French language there.
I was practicing with my kids because they speak French, and they're like, "You have a Portuguese accent." I'm like, "Thanks."
Like, I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah, when you speak French, you have a Portuguese accent that goes with it." They're like, "You're gonna be so embarrassed, Dad." I'm like, "All right."
All right, you ready?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I'm ready. All right, here we go. Three, two.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of How'd You Like That Movie? Today, we're going to be talking about the 2019 film Les Misérables. No, there is no singing. No, there is no dancing, but it is in French. But before we throw you over to Scott, we want to give a big shout out to Christopher Reed, otherwise known as Kid from Kid and Play. He liked and shared the episode we did on House Party, so we want to thank him so much. And if you haven't checked out him or our House Party episode, give it a listen. Anyway, Scott, Les Misérables from 2019, take us away.
See, the thing that I like about our podcast is that we're both coming in blind in terms of what the other response, like the other party's responses. Like,
Nobody
I don't know
knows
what you
nothing
think.
on this show.
Yeah, like I don't know what you're thinking about this movie. I have an idea about the films when we pick them, right? Now, with this film in particular, I enjoy the cinematography a lot. I thought the drone shots were outstanding, and I can see why it was nominated for a bunch of fucking awards last year.
Mhm.
But I really want to hear what you have to say on this before I delve a little deeper, because I had some problems with it.
Okay, so we got, just to give you a bit of a recap, essentially what this film is about is it's basically like almost like a French training day, as in the film Training Day, that takes place in a suburb just outside of Paris called Montfermeil, France, which I definitely did not say that right, which is actually the same town that Victor Hugo wrote his 1962 novel of the same name, Les Misérables, and also where a big portion of the film is set. It's where Jean Valjean meets Cosette, if you are familiar with the play. Yeah, so this takes place in this little French suburb, and it's basically showing kind of law enforcement engaging with the primarily Black community, and obviously things do not go well, and it kind of goes from there. So your question is, what did I think of it?
Yeah. Like I want to hear your thoughts, because this is going to be something a little bit different. We're going to Bizarro World. I'm probably going to go a little longer than you on this film.
Oh, that's awesome. Because I found it interesting and yet a bit disjointed, and it felt long. It comes in at an hour. It's an hour and 43 minutes long. And honestly, like I watched it multiple times just to get ready for the show, and it felt like a 3 hour long movie. I was like, fuck, man, like, is this not done? Like, I actually realized about when it's got about 30 minutes left, you feel like that should be the end of the movie, and it's not, and you're kind of like, oh, I kind of get it back into this. It just I didn't just watch this for this show. Like, when I missed it in the theater, we have a little independent theater in Kitchener-Waterloo area called Princess Cinema. So actually, after COVID, if anybody wants to go check out independent cinema, check out Princess Theater in Waterloo, Ontario. They're fantastic over there. And so I was super stoked to see it in the theater. I missed it. And then I noticed that Amazon had the rights. And then we ended up in one of those situations where, you know, Amazon had the American rights and you had to wait for it to come out. I think I ended up watching it on Crave. So I was super excited to watch this movie in general. And I don't know if the word disappointed. I was bored. I was definitely bored with the movie. Anyway, go ahead, Scott, and we can go back and forth on this.
Okay. So like I said, I'm probably going to go a little bit long. For me, I think this film lacks two things. One being an ending, the other is an identity.
Okay. I don't know which article you took that from, but it sounds very well put together.
I fucking came up with this. You shut your fucking mouth when you talk to me. Okay, so I'm going to speak about the latter first. And it actually is funny because with my other comment, because I don't know what you're saying. Like, I didn't know what you were going to say, but I thought I was watching a French remake of Training Day 2, right?
Yes.
Which with we normally see, you know, Americanized remakes of other languages, like other countries' movies, right? So
Sure.
I was actually excited to see you take the premise of Training Day and see it in another environment, right? Not LA, not the States or whatever, right? You know, there's no Denzel Washington, King Kong, I got nothing on me kind of scenario, right? And I thought it was going to make for good cinema, right? So just like The Ring speaks different than Ringu, and the French film The Untouchables is way superior to the American remake of The Upside. And I thought what they started with this movie was great. When they
Untouchables, by the way, the French movie Untouchables, you go out and watch it. The movie is fucking amazing if you haven't seen that movie.
You don't need to see The Upside.
Don't watch the one with Cranston in it. Watch the original.
Now, when they started with the social political hierarchy of that city in Montfermeil, whatever the fuck it's called, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm trying to figure out where does the police unit fall in this hierarchy, right? We meet this mayor, we meet like the squad leader, Chris, but we'll call him Pink Piggy so we don't confuse him with you.
Hey, what's up?
Right?
Yeah,
where he's trying to get this power, right? And then you meet the reformed criminal Shala, who has found God, but he's still respected and feared from the community. I'm like, and just even if they extended on that, the fucking gypsies going around saying, come join the circus, right? I thought that would have been a way better movie. Like if this film ended, like you said, like pretty much where you had Guada breaking down at the pub and getting the drone card, that would have been perfect.
Yeah, because you've got a full story arc there, right? You're like, okay, we're good. And I'm not suggesting that makes a good movie, but that would have been a natural end point. You know what I mean?
Exactly, but it didn't end there, Chris. And
no,
we
it
both
did not.
agree there. This is where that first fly said with no ending. I'm like, it's literally like someone in France was the reverse of you, and while they're cutting this movie, they're like, we need more shots. So they're like,
we got all this extra footage that we haven't used. Let's just tack it on the end here.
So they're like, hey, let's just write a nice, quick 15-minute remake of The Raid. And we're just going to fucking tack that at the end. And that it literally...
And some of that stuff was good. Like, some of it was good. But yeah, it felt like, why is this happening at this point in the movie? Like, it should have been in the center. That would be what you would call your, like, your climax or part of your rising action. You know what I mean?
Like... those spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie, like when they catch the kid Issa, if that's how they caught him, perfect, right? But to have this whole character arc with the rookie cop Stephanie taking care of this child who got was it rubber bullets or smoke pellet?
I couldn't tell if it was a rubber bullet or if it was a beanbag gun.
Yeah, well, whatever he got shot with in the face.
Because they did. I actually looked, like I was looking up. I'm like, do French police officers not carry handguns? But then he actually pulls out his Glock or whatever later on with the lions and the gypsies, and oh my. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, so
Can we still call them gypsies? They were called gypsies in the movie, so please
Yeah,
don't take
they were
any
called
offense.
gypsies.
That's what they were referred to in the movie.
Yeah, but yeah, like to me, like having that whole like to me the made up conflict between the child Issa and the rookie cop, where he has the Molotov and the cop now pulls his gun on the kid. Like they literally wrote themselves into a corner where whatever the other person did would just contradict the whole movie past. So they didn't have an ending. That's why it just fucking faded to black with no resolution to what it actually happened.
Well, and it's so I checked. So when they first arrest the kid, or actually when they shoot him with the beanbag gun, spoiler alert. Remember, this is a new movie, so you guys got to fucking expect this shit. That's 53 minutes in. It's half the movie. I'm like, holy fuck! It took us half an hour, half the movie to get to that point. You know what I mean?
No, exactly, right? And that's the thing. That's why I thought, I'm like, this movie lost the identity it had once they started like throwing the fucking raid in, right? But don't get me wrong, like the cinematography is great. Like the story it captivated, but then like to me, like that third act did not even have to be in this film.
So first off, this film was based on or developed from a short film of the same name by Ladj Ly. So he wrote a great little 15-minute short film called Les Misérables in 2017. And it basically is it actually has a much more natural progression. There's no Gypsies or Roma, there's no Muslim Brotherhood or anything. It's basically them harassing the kids, like the scene where they harass the girls for the hash and stuff. That's all in there. So it feels much more like Training Day because they didn't try and fill in more characters. It's just like shitty white cops and a black community kind of thing. And it's like, you can watch it on YouTube, by the way, and I highly recommend going and watching it. The cinematography is not as big because it's much more of a small scale thing. And Damien Bonnard is in it again. Actually, I think all the actors reprise their roles.
All of them, right? I haven't watched it yet, but
it's good. It's good. I would highly recommend watching that. And it's got if they would have taken kind of that approach, you know, like a 90-minute or even shorter, and just kind of flush that out. But I agree with you. As soon as you get in all these other characters, it's like, if you want all those other characters, then maybe they should do like a Netflix limited series, because the problem is that you have more characters to flesh out the story, but then you don't devote enough time. So you kind of just feel like you're touching all these things and never really getting any like you don't really develop any type of empathy or like opinion at all on any of these characters. It's moving too fast, but also it feels very slow. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you know, some of the comments that I read in the like articles and stuff it was interesting. Okay, so the director Ladj Ly, he's from that area. He was actually he was born in Mali, which is French speaking. So he grew up in Montfermeil, France, which is where this is set. And so you would expect him to like not see so much stuff through the almost like POV of the police officers. You know what I mean? Like it almost felt like you were watching the day unfold. And I understand they do switch to the other character, but primarily it really felt like you were from the police officer's POV. And the quote I've got about it is from Rob Thomas from the Capital Times. And he says, "It's as if," and then he puts in brackets, to use Lynn's own literary allusion against them, Hugo's Les Miserables was told entirely from the viewpoint of Inspector Javier. And it's true. It's like this. It's like this thing that's supposed to be talking about, you know, social injustice and police brutality and stuff. but you're almost watching it from the wrong point of view, in my opinion. But that's not even my major criticism. I agree with you. I felt like that it was a bit disjointed, and it definitely felt long.
Yeah, like I wouldn't say it felt long. Like I did think time frame like an hour or whatever. It was good, but I think they needed to make it more concise. They needed to know beginning to end what this film was to be presented.
Sure.
And I think if you haven't watched it, you should definitely watch it because it is good cinema. And with this this being Ladj Ly's first directorial debut, like everybody he's gonna be on watch lists, like people to watch for
100%.
sure.
Well, he won the Cannes Film Festival jury prize for this. So he was nominated, or the film was, so he won the jury prize, and then the film was nominated for an Oscar in the international category. It was nominated for a BAFTA for a non-English speaking film. And then it went to Cannes and was nominated both for the Palme d'Or and the Golden Camera for first time filmmaker. So like that's huge. And I mean, the thing's got an 88% critic and an 88% audience rate. Like it's considered a solid film. Very, very established institutions think it's great. He's definitely going to be a director to watch. Do you know that he served 3 years? Well, he served 2 years in prison, but he originally got a 3-year prison sentence for kidnapping and false imprisonment, which is basically like, capturing someone and holding them against their will. I couldn't find any details on that, but I was like, oh, interesting. And then you go to the Oscars. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but from what I read as well, like some of the stuff in terms of the social political hierarchy that was presented in this film was from his childhood as well,
Oh,
right?
100%. 100%. Like I said, that's his story. It's like autobiographical almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It was well done, but yeah, like for me, it was just those two things. Just like it irritates me because I think it would have been like one of the better movies we've done this year, as opposed to the ending just like frustrated me like to no end. To no
So you
end.
were super let down by the ending though. But
So
otherwise you were fine?
yeah, without it, it was great. I think when it didn't turn into the 15-minute French remake of The Raid, like it was literally like it was captivating, and I liked how the mayor is trying to fuck over the cops because he doesn't want them to have more power, right? And then they both have to go to
The Muslim Brotherhood.
to Shala, right? And then try to present their cases to Shala. And then, you drop off the kid with drug dealers, right, to hide them.
And
The
kid gets put in a cage with a lion.
yeah, like, well, it's the reflection of the gypsies kind of thing. And that's what, like, it had good beats, right? And I think by going and kind of changing it, like you'd figure either is a like how we were talking before, sorry, how we were talking before in terms of where it was supposed to end. Like you had the second senior cop, Gada, I believe his name was, right, who was literally the child that was raised in that community, who was tired of the way he was treated by cops, become a cop, right?
Yeah.
And he didn't like what was going on, but he never spoke out about it. And then all of a sudden he has his whole frustrations, like he has his whole breakdown. You find out the reason why the beanbagger thing goes, and like that would have been perfect, like technically him just throwing out
Well, and again, they show Cachon like being like a family man and stuff. Like they're trying to humanize everything, and I get it. Like he's trying to not go down that American route of like there's good and there's bad, and either the cops are good or the cops are bad. He's showing that nuance. But yeah, again, I agree. It felt kind of disjointed. So basically, what you're saying is either watch all the movie up until the last 15 minutes, or only watch the last 15 minutes for that raid scene, because that raid scene's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's two separate movies, right? Like, if they wanted to make a sequel, they should have just gone with that fucking shit. Them going after you find out there's a second copy of that drone footage or something like that, and they got to rate it. But I don't know, man. Like, for you, would you like in terms of what you saw? Would you recommend it? Like, would you say like, you know
So
what, it's good?
I I would recommend it as basically like a film you should watch because it talks about some important socio-political issues. It looks very beautiful. I mean, it's good exposure to just decent filmmaking. But I would put a big like asterisk on the like you're probably not going to be overly entertained for the whole period of it. You know what I mean?
Now, how would you, if you, let's say you had a time machine and you wrote the ending, how would you
If I
have
had a
written
time machine, I'd be doing other shit than fucking rewriting the ending to this movie. Um,
it? You're investing in Bitcoin and
That's
Tesla.
right, Bitcoin, GameStop. If I had a time machine, I had to rewrite the ending. Well, I would have definitely had that raid scene in, and I agree with you. What I would have done is I would have made that how they got the chip back or whatever. You know what I mean? Instead of like they go in again, spoiler, they go in and they do like more of like a search and seizure and stuff like that. I would have had that. I would have actually had that in like the center of the movie. And then I would have made it shorter. And then we would have kind of come off with that. And honestly, I would have had more retribution for the police officers. You know what I mean?
In regards to what?
I don't know, have them all get murdered or something.
But that's the thing. There's only one that was like, you had that the rookie cop who was just there because he wanted to be close to his kid.
Yeah, but
right?
you asked me you asked me how I would rewrite the movie, and I just
But why would they all get murdered?
because that just shows like sometimes like the one cop does something bad, the bad apple, right? The bad apple in the bunch. Well, it fucking gets the whole bunch shot because I think that would have been dope, right? Like they're and I already have it pictured. Like they're all sitting in their squad car, and the kids come up and they just like fucking throw like a firebomb in the car or something like that, burn them all up, and then go to black.
Not the attacking by fireworks.
No, firebomb.
No, I was gonna say in this one they attack the cops with fireworks.
I understand that, and I'm saying no, firebomb those motherfuckers, and then we can go all what's his name there? Who's the big transformer blow stuff up the filmmaker? Make it like
Michael
that.
Bay.
Michael Bay, yeah, make it Michael Bay like fucking car flips up in the air.
So it's gonna be slow motion explosions, and then the little kids are just walking away because real men don't look back at explosions.
That's right, and then they have to have a cigarette that they like flick. Extreme close up. Anyway,
pull a little. Oh my god! Now, who's the guy who did Face Off?
the director.
Yeah, and he did Mission Impossible 2.
Oh yeah. I can't.
John Woo. You do
yes.
a little John Woo with the pigeons just flying with the cigarettes.
So you say the ending is searching for an identity. So what do you mean by that?
Well, it's not the ending searching for. I think the film was searching for an identity. It's either because those last 15 minutes was, oh, this is a full-blown action film, and everything prior to that was, this is a social political drama.
Okay.
Right? Like that.
So you basically you're saying like, yeah, it doesn't know who it's trying to be. Like
exactly.
It's trying to be a couple different things at the same time, which is kind of what we talked about with Cherry. If you haven't heard our episode on Cherry by the Russo brothers, definitely check that out. That kind of disjointedness, like not being able to pick a line and be like, this is the story I want to tell and this is how I want to tell it.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's 100%. Like they had, and I think the majority of this film was perfect, right? Like they should have gone with that instead of throwing in just, now we're going to be full-blown action.
Yeah.
For no.
Like I said, I think if they would have just kept it as like a police procedural kind of like neo-noir style, you know what I mean?
No, I know what you mean.
But I don't know. All I'd say is definitely go out and watch the 2017 short film Les Misérables by the same director. Check it out on YouTube. That will probably give you enough. And then if you've got Crave or you got access to this thing for free, check it out. Check it out. It's very well shot, but you may not be overly entertained. Anyway, anything else from you, Scott?
Okay, I just paused record. Did we lose him? Anyway, all right, and post-production, 3, 2.
Post-production. Yeah, that's the thing. It literally pissed me off because I'm like, in terms of what that ending was, why they had to fade to black was because if that kid threw the Molotov, he's never going to be redeemed. Like everything everybody ever said about him that he was trying to avoid is true.
And don't steal lines from gypsies. Don't steal lines from gypsies. It always turns out bad. Trust me.
That was my favorite scene when they're like, "Where's my Johnny? I'm gonna cut your balls off, my Johnny." I'm like, oh.
And the mayor is like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, he thought he was talking about like a kid or something like that.
Yeah, he was like, "Who the fuck is Johnny? What did Johnny look like?" But yeah, and then if the cop shot the kid, then everything he did the day prior was for nothing.
That's right. I mean, here's a Band-Aid. Bam!
But yeah, that's the thing. I think they just literally, I honestly think it was just somebody was just the reverse Chris, like, "Hey man, I think we need more guns in here. I think we need something.
We need more footage. We've like I said, we shot all this stuff, and I mean, they're paying us for it, so let's put it in the movie."
They're just like, we're way under budget. Let's do this.
Yeah, what was I couldn't find the budget for this. I know that it made $18.9 million, but I couldn't find the budget.
No idea, man.
There wasn't actually a ton of information on this. I mean, it being a French film, and
Yeah,
a lot of the actors, like, they hadn't done a ton of work. Like the DOP on this, Julien Poupard, most of his stuff was like short. He's done tons of short film work. He wasn't the original DOP on this. I mean, recently he did The Eddie. Well, he did 4 episodes of The Eddie, which is on a Netflix miniseries about like a jazz nightclub in France or whatever. And like when Damien Bonnard is like your big actor. I mean, he had a minor role in Dunkirk. He's done tons of French stuff. And he's actually in a submarine movie that I'm going to check out on Netflix called The Wolf's Call, or whatever the Wolf's Call is in à la française. You know what I mean?
Français. But the guy that played Gotti, that Debris Zonga,
yeah,
like, he looks young. He's 1 year younger than me, man. The guy looked like he was like 23, 25.
Oh, wow.
Like the one that shot the kid. I'm like, you're almost 40? I'm like, fuck, I wish I was almost 40 looking like that.
I wish I looked like that, and I'm, between 35 and 45 years old. So anyway, Scott,
all right.
That's it for me. Anything else from you?
No, unless Rod has a question or anything, I think.
Rod?
I'm good.